Welcome to Two Left Fielders. I'm your host, Harry Kassal, in Gainesville, Florida. Joining me, as always, the man, the legend, G-Mart. What up?
What's up, Harry? I'm just tuned in from beautiful, gloomy Bloomington, Indiana. Some might call it Gloomington, Indiana. Bob Knight country. I figured I'd pay a little homage to Coach Knight while I was up here.
Have the honors shooting the technicals. Looky here. Bobby Knight just threw his chair clear across the free throw lane.
I mean, that's always a timeless quote. You know, Bob Knight threw his chair on the court. I'm in Indiana. I've been dodging chairs left and right. Figured I'd throw out a little homage to Coach Knight today.
All right, but if you're out there, you're listening to a sports show, you know what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about March Madness. We're here on ESPN.com. You can fill out a bracket and see expert analyst brackets right now. And I thought it would be funny to compare my brackets to some of these other brackets, because you look and you see Michelle Beto, Pablo Torre, Mike Golick, and they all have worse brackets than me. They also all have worse brackets than Big Sean. I don't know why Big Sean is an ESPN analyst, but he's there, and his bracket is better than Mike Golick. That's funny, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess a little bit. I mean, safe to say this year's March Madness has been.
There was never a show that went on for 20 years called Sean and Sean, so that's why I'm saying it.
Fair enough. Mike and Mike was a staple of all of our childhoods. You'd expect Golick to come with a little bit more heat than that, but it is what it is.
That's proof that no one knows anything.
I mean, it is what it is, man. So this weekend we got Kansas playing Villanova in the Final Four. We got Sister Jean and Loyola taking on Michigan. Who you got this weekend, Harry?
I'm gonna go. I think the move is to pick. It's Kansas Michigan, right? I'm gonna go Kansas Michigan, and then I'm gonna call the upset. I'm gonna say Michigan takes down Kansas. I've been wrong every week. If you go back every week, I think the first week I said Duke probably. So every week I've been wrong, but I'm gonna go with Kansas plays Michigan State or Michigan, and then Michigan wins in an upset.
I like it. You know what? I think, Loyola, they've had some thrilling games throughout the tournament. I think they find a way to get it done against Michigan. I think Villanova's playing the best ball of anybody in the country right now. I think in a David versus Goliath type matchup, we got Villanova taking down Loyola. So at the end of the day,
that's crazy. We picked the exact opposite. I like Michigan though. I think Michigan has played really good team ball all year. Whereas if you look at a team like Kansas, you have like one or two players stepping up. But Michigan, it seems like a different player every night is stepping up. And I feel like since they have that depth and a bunch of guys that they could go to, I think that they could take it all the way this year. And I did not say that last week, so no one knows anything, as I said. Shout out to Mike Golick.
Well, I mean, it's been clear to everybody throughout this tournament, the biggest star is Sister Jean, 98 years young. She actually gave her likeness to Loyola, so they're now making money off her face and her T-shirts, water bottles, bobbleheads, and she's seeing just as much money as the athletes. But
It's true. She's seen just as much money as the athletes, unless we're talking about the Arizona athletes, in which case they're seeing way more money than Sister Jean. And by the way, since we're talking about Arizona, Sister Jean now has one more Final Four appearance than Sean Miller. Yeah, I went there.
Oh, no. Low
blow. I
went
there. I said it.
First off, he has no Final Fours, and he seemed to be out of a job, but so be it. So what do you think, Harry? I got a quote I want to play by Sister Jean. She filled out multiple brackets this year. She did not have...
Which is whack.
It's
you
whack.
You got to fill out one bracket and go do or die and just live and die with that bracket.
I mean, I'm with you. I normally just go... I'm a loyalist. I normally have Louisville winning it all this year, so they weren't in it this year, so I digress. Here's Sister Jean's quote regarding her players approaching her as they continue to win.
Broke your bracket, Sister Jean. I said, that's fine with me. Let's keep going.
Come on, Sister Jean. You didn't even have Loyola winning it all? Give me a break.
Actually, you know what? I take it back. If you get a perfect bracket, you get $1 billion. Sister Jean's out here. Because I didn't put, I ride and die with Florida, but I didn't put Florida winning the whole thing. I'm trying to get a Billy. Sister Jean, you feel me, and I'm with you. I take everything I said back. I love you. I'm on Team Jean.
Team Jean? I'm with it.
The New England Patriots safety, Duron Harmon, was denied entry into Costa Rica because he got caught with 58 grams of marijuana, 3 oil pens, THC edibles, and compressed marijuana, which I don't know what that is. Gee, can you explain to me what compressed marijuana is? Is that just... I'm not into what the kids are doing now. I just remember it's green and you put it around paper or you put paper around it. See, I don't know anything about marijuana.
I'm not really sure what the deal is with that there, Harry. I mean, I know that I do know one thing is true, that this guy's playing for the Patriots. He was playing for the Patriots. I think it's safe to say that he could be expecting a call any day now.
Dak, this Jerry Jones and your Dallas.
Duran,
we make it happen every week.
You knew we were going to fit in the Jerry quote. We know Jerry Jones doesn't care about anything his players have done on or off the field. So I think it's safe to say Duran will be headed down to Dallas here shortly.
Come on, man. I don't know. Like 58 grams, that's so much. Why do you need that?
I mean, he was flying internationally. This guy's a fool. I mean, what can he expect?
Mr. Harmon, I hate to be the first to break this to you, but they have weed in Costa Rica.
What a fool. In other news this week, I was reading an article, spring training going on. I'm not necessarily the biggest baseball fan. I know we talked a little bit about your Marlins last week. We're
very bad. Oh, also, my Dolphins not looking so good either. Bottom of the barrel, Miami. What up?
At least you got D. Wade back.
Heat beating Cleveland right now as we speak.
Well, anyways, Miguel Cabrera, Triple Crown champion of a few years ago, multiple MVPs won for the Detroit Tigers. I almost said the Detroit Lions. He doesn't know a majority of his teammates' names. He just refers to them as bro.
That's the good move.
It is a good move.
With G. I never learned his real name. That's why I call him G.
I mean, I feel like you get to a certain point with people where after about 2 or 3 interactions and it's not really appropriate to ask the name, so I think just going with, it's a good move by Miguel. Bold, but a good move.
You got to switch it up, though. You can't go bro every time. You got to be like, what up, friend?
I think he's shameless. Sounds
homie.
Like he just goes with bro every time. He's a wild man.
That's weak.
He's not as wild as Joe Biden. This week, Joe Biden...
The segue of the decade.
Joe Biden went to an event for a Miami high school where he threw mad shade at President Trump. He was quoted as saying, a guy who ended up becoming our national leader said, I can grab women anywhere and she likes it. Biden said, they asked me if I'd debate this gentleman and I said no. If I were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him. To which... immediately, Harry and I are sending the quotes into one another. We said, what is Trump going to have to say back?
Trump goes back. Trump goes on Twitter and said, crazy Joe Biden. My fellow Americans, crazy Joe Biden is trying to act like a tough guy. Actually, he's weak, both mentally and physically. He has to threaten me for a second time with physical assault. He doesn't know me, but he would go down fast and hard, crying all the way. Don't threaten people, Joe. With my tiny hands, I would take you down. That's not what he said. That was also terrible. That's a terrible Trump impression.
You tried your best, but, Trump, he was in the news, as he always is, a lot this week. Nevertheless, the great Anderson Cooper found himself interviewing Stormy Daniels.
Poor Anderson Cooper.
The Stormy Daniels, the porn actress who is, claimed an affair with Donald Trump, and there's a quote we want to play by Miss Daniels.
Turn around, drop him.
You told Donald Trump to turn around and take off his pants.
Yes.
And did he?
Yes. So he turned around and
that was
pulled his
the whole
pants
interview.
down.
If you guys didn't watch that episode of 60 Minutes, that was the whole thing. And I feel so bad. Like, Anderson Cooper is a hard-hitting reporter. He wants to talk about North Korea. He doesn't want to do that interview. One of the questions he asked, he looked Stormy Daniels in the face and he said, did Trump wear a condom? Come on, man. You're a hard-hitting reporter. You're better than that.
It was uncomfortable, to say the least.
It was one of the highest rated episodes of 60 Minutes of all time, and I felt bad because that interview took away from another piece that 60 Minutes was doing, where they were doing a background on my friend Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak who plays for the Milwaukee Bucks. And ESPN went out, and they were so proud, and they were like, oh, they talked about Giannis, and it was the highest rated 60. It was like they didn't talk about Giannis. Like, when you're doing it, when you're getting interviewed, and also a porn star that slept with the president is getting interviewed, it's no longer your interview. It's not your day anymore. I'm sorry. Like, you could be that guy that landed the plane in the harbor and saved all those people. But, like, if it's on the same day as the Stormy Daniels interview, like, you ain't nothing, Sully Sullenberger. I'm sorry.
Oh, I don't know why you felt the need to go at the icon Sully's neck, but...
I remembered his name too late.
Fair enough. keeping it with the NBA, I saw that Kyrie Irving, he's out at least 3 weeks with a minor knee surgery. What is
minor knee surgery?
Yeah, what does that even mean? That sound knee surgery's a serious deal. I mean, hopefully, the Celtics can get him back by the postseason, which is just a few weeks away. What do you think, Harry?
I remember Paul Pierce. He once had his knee drains during the end of a season, and he was out for over a month. And as a Heat fan, I was like, "He's out. Get him! Come on, Wade, get him! Get him!" And if that getting your knee drained sounds less invasive than the word surgery, and the second surgery is involved, I feel like you have to be out at least a month. You can't. 3 weeks is the start of the postseason, and I feel like Kyrie Irving is not going to be back in 3 weeks.
No, it does not sound like that, and. Similarly, Steph Curry, he's also going to be out going into the playoffs. I know you mentioned
But I feel like the Golden State Warriors have way more security. Even with some of these other guys out, they're going to play the 7 seed, and they're going to play a team like Denver or
Utah Jazz,
Wolves, or the Spurs without Kawhi Leonard. They're not going to play up to the quality of a team. Very well, Boston might have to play my Heat. And, of course, I'm going to say the Heat are going to win, but they might play Milwaukee, and Milwaukee's a really good team. And I think if you don't have Kyrie, I think that they could lose that matchup, which is a shame because you know who they would play in the second rounds?
Tell me.
LeBron James.
Oh, come on. Well,
LeBron James.
LeBron is started to flex on the East. I know it's been an up and down year for the Cavaliers. They've had a few runs. They've had roster turnover. Assistant head coach Tyronn Lue is out with a heart problem or a soup injury. We weren't ever able to clear that up. But last week, LeBron headed into Toronto. Drake was there. Everyone was fired up. And right as everyone's starting to buy into the Toronto Raptors, LeBron drops 35.
Toronto won that game also. I don't know if anyone watched that game. Toronto had it the whole game. And then it was one of those things where it was in Cleveland and LeBron was like, "We're not going to lose this game." And I think they were down 17 going into the half. And LeBron James just turned it on, and it was you saw him chip away at the lead, and then it was within 2 going into the fourth, and you were like, "Oh my God, LeBron is still LeBron." Yeah. It doesn't matter. LeBron could play with me and G, and he would still kill it. He would still get first in the East.
I mean, this dude dropped 17 assists with no turnovers, so say what you want, but...
Take that, Stockton.
I mean, say what you want, but the East is Cleveland's to lose, in my opinion, heading into the playoffs.
I think that's a good pick. I think that's a safe pick. I think if at the beginning of the season and someone was like, "You know who I like? Golden State to play against Cleveland." You'd be like, "Oh, okay, I like that. That's a good pick. Smart."
So, what do you think, Harry? The Celtics escaped the first round, which isn't likely. It looks like they're playing the Heat.
Playing the Heat. Yeah, they're playing the Heat, so it's not going to happen. But no, I think it's going to be tough, and I think it sucks. But I hopefully if the Celtics could stay healthy next year, they're going to have a good run because they didn't have Gordon Hayward all year, and they had a hobbled Kyrie, and it's weird because this Celtics staff, they seem to do everything right when it comes to drafting and stockpiling players and getting assets, but then it comes to health and they're just terrible. They played Isaiah Thomas last year, and he wasn't healthy, and then they traded him, and he was hobbled, and now Kyrie is hobbled, and they made him play on it, and it got worse. And I just don't understand how an organization that was that successful for literally all time, how they're doing this to a player like Kyrie Irving.
It'll be interesting to see how it all unfolds.
Are we ending with a Yelp review? We got a Yelp review?
We got a Yelp review. I heard you've been doing a little research on my hometown. You got one from Louisville?
I did. I found a restaurant and bar, Milkwood, right across the street from the Kentucky Yum Yum Center.
The Yum Yum Center. Well, Milkwood, I'm unfamiliar with it, but you mentioned that you found a place close by the Yum Center. I know you were trying to find
across the street. Couldn't have been closer.
There's a number of restaurants around there, and say Milkwood is not one I've made an appearance at yet. So what you got for us?
Maybe you're not going to go after this one.
What do you got?
A complete disaster. We went before a play, and everything we ordered was flat out awful, or nearly so. Pimento cheese with a microscopic portion of caviar was served atop a pitifully soggy pork rinds. That sounds like a Trump tweet. Pimento cheese, microscopic portion of caviar. Right. Octopus bacon looked and tasted like a proverbial dog's breakfast. Pork shoulder was bone dry and tasteless, and the sauce simply cloying. Fried chicken accompanied by a petrified ice-cold biscuit, and 2, count them, 2 charred green beans. Both ramen dishes bordered on the inevitable. Wow, they ordered a lot. Would not go back for the fate of mankind hung in the balance. 1 star. 3 found this review helpful. Thank you, Charles B.
I got 1 response for that, Harry.
It's tough. It's just, that's not how you want to go out. But
I figured I'd get 1 Tebow quote in there for you since you were a little upset that I didn't give you a quote to enter the show with. So there's your Tebow.
You know what would have been
quote.
perfect is if I read that whole thing and then you were like, he told you to drop his pants.
You're wild, bro.
That's the show for this week. We are Two Left Fielders. Subscribe to our page. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Two Left Fielders. My name, as always, is Harry Kassal. Joining me, the legend. Scream it.
G-Mart. That's all I got. Until next time.